We have got another scouting report episode here for you on the first team. I'm Joe DeLeone, joined by Ryan Roberts. We're moving on with another tight end pairing, and today we're going to be doing Cade Stover from Ohio State. We're going to be doing Brevin Spanford from Minnesota, two Big Ten massive human beings that we are going to be breaking down on today's show. This is kind of odd, a bit of an odd grouping, Ryan, in the sense that they're similar but different. Like they bring aspects of blocking to their games, but at the same time, I Spanford is just so much bigger than Cade
It's a lot
Stover, so it's not a
taller,
one-to-one comparison.
a lot taller.
He's listed at 270. He's 6'7", 270.
He's verified. He's verified 263. Okay, he's a verified 263.
Still 12 pounds heavier than the other guy.
I think Stover was verified like 254 or something like that. So apples to oranges, I guess. But yeah, not. I think they're interesting though, man, because I think the pairing makes sense because I think we're talking about two. I don't want to give too much away, but like I think blocking emphasis on both of these guys is a lot higher than some of the other guys we'll be talking about this week. He's also a Big Ten player, obviously, and I like one considerably more than the other. So I'm excited to get into which one is that.
I think I have an idea of which guy that is. Cade Stover, though, first, as we said, 6'4", 251 is what he is listed on the website for Ohio State. Ryan, any background you got on this kid, as you always do?
He's got really weird background. So he was a very high recruit, number 130 overall player according to 247, coming out of the state of Ohio. He's from Lexington High School in Mansfield, Ohio. Joe, his senior season, because he was recruited actually originally to play defense for Ohio State. He started his career on the defensive side of the football, a little bit of a Cameron Latu type of arc for Cade Stover. 163 tackles his senior season, 4 interceptions, and he also played running back coming out of high school for over 1,400 yards and 17 touchdowns. Also the all-time leading scorer in the school's history as a basketball player. So very interesting backstory for Cade Stover. And he started his career as a defensive player.
That's kind of ironic that he's got all these athletic achievements, but
watch it.
Not that athletic. Look, Cade Stover is this is how I wrote him down. I didn't say he was a bad athlete. I said he is a very average athlete, which isn't a bad thing, but I don't see like a full projectability of him becoming a high volume receiving tight end in the NFL. What you do get with Cade Stover, I think he might be one of the best blockers that I've ever watched. Not the best, but one of the best because he shows up in pass protection, which is a huge boost when you have a tight end who is willing and can pass protect when you need to bring on a second tight end, which is how I see he projects in the NFL. But I love the mentality that he has as a run blocker. I think he latches on, good leg drive. He's got pretty good angles and technique for a tight end, which is really hard to find. And then the intent is 1,000% there. Where I do have a little pause though, Ryan, is just like his impact as a receiver. He doesn't have a lot of production. He's got decent production for a tight end in the Big Ten. Not a great route runner and somebody who's just not going to create any separation that I'm really worried about.
I will say that he's much more productive than what Jeremy Ruckert was when he was at Ohio State, which everyone tried to hype up to a much higher level. But so I now know which one you like more. Thank you for letting the cat out of the bag with your description of Cade Stover. Okay. Stover, for me, I think we see him similarly. I might value what he is a little bit higher than you. I think that's going to be the little bit of the disconnect, okay? 4th round grade for me. I think that
I'm in the same boat as you.
Okay, so maybe we're similar then. Maybe I'm just saying it a little bit nicer, I guess. I don't know. Really good blocker. I'm surprised how good of a blocker he is for a guy that has spent most of his Ohio State career playing on the defensive side of the football. He hasn't been playing tight end very long. So the fact that he has this much chops as a blocker is actually pretty notable, in my opinion. I think it's really, really interesting. So he blocks his butt off. I think he has strong hands. I think linearly, he is solid. He's a good linear athlete, in my opinion. I believe that. I agree. He's not flexible, though, at all. Like, he's not going to run routes. He's going to be I'm blocking, and then, shoots. Here he is coming out on just a little bit of a tight end delay, and he's able to leak out, and you get
Mm-hmm.
a couple receptions that way. Like, that's what he is. He's going to be a stick route runner that's going to use his body to be able to shield defenders away from him to finish through contact, but he's not going to be a guy that's going to run a full route tree. He's not going to be a high-volume pass catcher at the NFL level. What I think he is I think he's going to be a really good second tight end in the NFL and could be a low-end starter potentially down the road in an offense that maybe doesn't ask their tight end to be a high-volume receiver. That's what I see in Cade. I think Cade's a good football player, though, and I generally am. I was a little bit surprised on how much I liked him because I just didn't think I would like the profile of him being a little bit tight, maybe not being the greatest separator of all time, but I think he does the baseline stuff really, really well. Like, I think he's a really good baseline type of football player. He will stick on the NFL level, in my opinion.
Right. That's where I'm at. Great football player. Just if we're using the word football player, he is a great football player. He is going to block. He is going to.
And he'll play on special teams. He'll play on special teams without a question. Yes.
Special teams is going to be where someone like him shines as a personal protector, as somebody who is a wedge guy on kickoff return. He's going to eat up a lot of hits, I think, in his career. My projectability is the same as yours. This is a very high level second tight end, 4th, 5th, maybe 6th round pick, somewhere in that range. I'm actually maybe equally as optimistic as you are. I have to set that realism of he's never, ever going to create separation and be like a legitimate receiving threat is like where I had to quickly be realistic on. I didn't want to glaze past that because as fun as he is as a blocker and as excited I was as a blocker, I had to bring myself back down to earth because of that inability to be consistently impactful as a receiver.
You know what, Joe, I really think that his stats this past year illustrate exactly what he is as a football player. Exactly. 36 receptions, 406 yards, 5 touchdowns. Solid production. 11.3 yards per catch. It's a low number, obviously. And that is despite having 2 games last year where he averaged 20 yards or better on. He had 2 catches for 40 yards against Arkansas State. He had 3 catches for 83 yards against Toledo. Despite those high yard per catch numbers, he still was only a modest 11.3 per catch. He's not a guy that's going to create a ton of explosive plays. He's not a guy that's going to be able to take a top off. This isn't a seam runner. This is a stick route runner. This is an option route runner. This is a guy that is going to live in the short area of the field and occasionally be able to make a tough catch over the middle of the field on intermediate routes. This is what this is. But 5 touchdowns last year. I think he'll be an asset in the red zone. I know he'll be an asset in the blocker, and I think he'll be a solid, dependable underneath target as a second tight end or a low volume, low tier tight end starter at the next level. That's what I see with Cade. But again, you need that player, 1. And 2, you mentioned it, going to be able to protect on both kickoff return, on punts, and also this kid has a defensive background, so he's also going to be able to run down on some kickoffs and do all that type of stuff and block on punt and be able to cover in that regard. So this is a core team special teamer that at worst is a tight end too, and a good one in my opinion. Nothing wrong with that at all.
I just want to tell you folks about an exciting new partnership that we have with this channel with Underdog Fantasy. Ever since I joined, I've been having so much fun. There are so many different exciting games that make watching games during the offseason more exciting. I'm not the biggest basketball fan, but it has made it way more entertaining since I found Underdog Fantasy. And my favorite game to play so far, which I think you should try out, is Pick'em. It is so easy to play. Just pick higher or lower on your favorite player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Underdog keeps it simple with their easy-to-use website and mobile apps. Pick between 2 and 5 players to fill out your Pick'em slip. Get every pick right and take home some cold hard cash. Use code HACK, H-A-C-K, HACK, like the name of this channel. Use code HACK to get your first deposit doubled up to $100 by Underdog. Go sign up. You won't regret it. You're going to have a blast. Check out Underdog Fantasy. I also want to tell you folks about our other recurring sponsor that we have on this channel, that being BetOnline. BetOnline.ag, which is all the updated odds, news, and anything for sports betting. It's my go-to source for when I want to be betting specifically on games. I love betting on college basketball or the NBA, especially, again, during the offseason. Always looking for more fun ways to be focused in on some of these other sports. It's betonline.ag and use promo code BELIEVE50. It's promo code BELIEVE50 to get 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.